Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This week on Parshat Kitetse, we encounter something that is so powerfully anti-humane, namely the institution of slavery, that I think when we read about it, of course, we want to feel like that's in the past, but of course we know that slavery still exists around the world, different forms of bonded labor, and is still very much an issue with us, the exploitation by some of others. What's interesting about the Torah here and important is that the Torah really is a radical document when it comes to the treatment of slaves. It doesn't abolish slavery, so it's not radical in the ultimate sense. But what it does say is that unlike every other place in the ancient Near East, a slave who has run away from their master, presumably from somewhere else, they are not to be turned away. They are to be given refuge, and they are not to be, in effect, re-enslaved by an Israelite. And that is radical, because everywhere else that was not the case. As some of you may know from American history, in the 1850s, there was a fugitive slave law that basically said that slaves who had escaped from the South had to be sent back to the South, that Southerners had the right to come north to capture slaves. The Torah is really prohibiting all of that, saying that the land of Israel shall be a sanctuary for fugitive slaves. What's interesting about that is that in many ways, the notion of the land of Israel as a makom, as a place, is a language that is really associated with God. Really, it's one of God's names, makom, the place. God is looking for a place. That's what the land of Israel is supposed to be, a kind of a symbolic home of God. And the way that you make that real is by living a certain way, creating a certain kind of culture, a certain kind of morality, a certain kind of society that is godly. And that same set of ideas is applied to the notion that says we should be a place where slaves can take refuge. And I think that's a remarkable notion. Again, it's not abolition of slavery in the ultimate sense of saying slavery is wrong and it ought to be abolished everywhere for all time by everyone, which of course calls into being the classic question of, the relationship between how far law is supposed to push us to be our best selves as opposed to recognizing our complexity and our imperfection and a more gradualist approach to social change, but that's for another time. But I do think this is a remarkable statement that says, in yet another dimension of the Exodus story, that says, well, all of this comes from our sense that says we were slaves and we empathize with these people. We are related to them. We are humans with them. They are our equals in some fundamental sense. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom and continue enjoying this beautiful weather.